SWIFT is dead. Banks are racing to adopt XRP, and this leaked JP Morgan memo proves XRP will hit $750 by 2025. Don't miss the banking revolution. Welcome back, crypto enthusiasts, because today we have a groundbreaking revelation that could change the game for XRP and the entire financial system as we know it. If you've been keeping an eye on XRP's price movements, you might have noticed something strange happening behind the scenes. Something huge is unfolding in the world of global finance. Get ready, because we've just uncovered one of the biggest secrets that could send XRP's price skyrocketing to a jaw-dropping $750 by 2025. Let's jump straight into it. The world of finance is facing one of its most significant transformations in history. We've all heard of SWIFT, the traditional network that has dominated cross-border payments for decades. Well, SWIFT is officially on the way out, and XRP is set to replace it. It's not just talk, this shift is happening right now, and we have leaked documents that prove it. That's right. A memo from JP Morgan has just surfaced, confirming that the banking giant is ditching SWIFT for Ripple, the very network that XRP operates on. And that's not all. HSBC is also preparing to make the move to Ripple, and we're seeing other major financial institutions following in their footsteps. Now, if you're wondering why on earth banks would ditch the long-standing SWIFT system for a new blockchain-based solution, it's because Ripple is faster, cheaper, and more efficient than anything SWIFT has ever been able to offer. Ripple doesn't just handle transactions, it transforms them into something completely different. A modern solution that leverages blockchain technology to create instant, secure, and low-cost cross-border payments. And guess what? Banks are starting to realize that Ripple is the future. So why stay stuck with SWIFT when you can move to something better? But let's take this a step further. SWIFT handles a mind-blowing $7 trillion in daily transactions. That's $7 trillion every single day, making it the backbone of global finance. But here's where the math gets really interesting. 1% of SWIFT's daily volume can potentially flood into XRP, and we're talking about a $70 billion injection into Ripple every day. That could put XRP on the fast track to $700 billion per coin. And honestly, we're just scratching the surface. Now let's get into the specifics of how this could work. If Ripple starts capturing just a small fraction of SWIFT's massive transaction volume, it would have a huge impact on the price of XRP. Think about it. XRP is designed to handle high-volume transactions at lightning speed. And with banks like JP Morgan and HSBC jumping on board, Ripple is going to handle a ton of money. And when this happens, it's going to drastically increase demand for XRP. This demand, combined with the limited supply of XRP, only 100 billion coins ever, will create the perfect storm for a massive price surge. Now, let's look at some historical context. We all know what happened with Bitcoin when it was first adopted by institutional players. When Bitcoin's ETF was approved, it triggered a 150% pump in its price in just a few months. And we're starting to see the same pattern with XRP. When institutions start flooding in and big players like JP Morgan and HSBC make the switch to Ripple, the demand for XRP will soar, and so will the price. A $750 price tag for XRP doesn't sound so out of reach anymore, does it? Let's dive deeper into why this is so important. The financial industry has been waiting for a solution to replace SWIFT for years. SWIFT's outdated infrastructure has been bogging down the global payment system, and in today's fast-paced world, banks can no longer afford to rely on it. But with Ripple, financial institutions can settle transactions instantly, saving them millions of dollars in fees and reducing the time it takes to move money around the globe. Ripple has already been tested and proven to be the superior alternative. And now the banking giants are starting to take notice. JP Morgan's leaked memo reveals that they have already begun the transition from SWIFT to Ripple for certain cross-border payment corridors, and HSBC isn't far behind. The banks are quietly moving away from SWIFT and transitioning their systems over to Ripple as they prepare for the new financial reality. And here's the kicker. They're all betting on XRP. XRP is the key to the Ripple network. And if XRP sees widespread adoption, it will quickly become the dominant digital asset in the financial world. Let's talk about the supply dynamics of XRP. Unlike traditional currencies, which can be printed at will by central banks, XRP has a limited supply. There are only 100 billion coins in total, and a significant portion of them are already locked up in escrow or held by Ripple. So as more and more institutions start using XRP to settle transactions, the demand for XRP will continue to rise. But the supply will remain constrained. This imbalance is exactly what drives price appreciation in any asset. As the supply dries up and more people want to own XRP, the price is only going to go one way up. Let's break down the price target of $750. If XRP manages to capture 1% of Swift's daily transaction volume, which is about $7 trillion, this would inject a massive amount of capital into the XRP ecosystem, driving its price to new heights. And if XRP starts to gain traction in the global market, especially if more institutions and governments adopt Ripple for their payment needs, then $750 per XRP is about $7 trillion. This would inject a massive amount of capital into the XRP ecosystem, driving its price to new heights. And if XRP starts to gain traction in the global market, especially if more institutions and governments adopt Ripple for their payment needs, then $750 per XRP could become a conservative estimate. Some even argue that XRP's price could go much higher as Ripple becomes the dominant payment system for global finance. So what should you do with this information? Here's the deal. If you want to be part of this financial revolution, now is the time to buy XRP. The price is still under $10. But once institutions like JP Morgan, HSBC, and others fully integrate Ripple into their operations, XRP's price will skyrocket. Don't wait until XRP is at $100 or $200. By then, it will be too late. Get in now while the price is still low and hold tight as we watch XRP become the global standard for cross-border payments. But here's the kicker. This banking revolution is happening right under our noses, and the media is only just starting to catch on. You need to stay ahead of the curve and be the first to know about the latest XRP developments. That's why we're encouraging you to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we'll be the first to break any major news that could impact XRP's price. Trust me, you'll want to be in the know as this revolution unfolds. If you're holding XRP right now, you're sitting on a potential gold mine. Banks are dumping Swift for Ripple, and XRP is the key to the future of cross-border payments. With the massive institutional inflows about to flood into XRP, $750 per coin is just the beginning. Don't miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe so you don't miss any updates about XRP's rise to dominance. This is just the beginning. And before we wrap up, leave your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe XRP can really hit $750 or even higher? Let's talk about it. Super. Subscribe for more XRP updates and crypto news.